which of these three steps that the government, which of these three approaches that Mr. President reiterated yesterday, has he not enunciated before? Which one is new? It is how effectual, how effective are these measures? Everybody keeps talking about economic empowerment. How much of it is visible? Well, cooperation with our neighboring countries, yes. I guess that is going on at some levels. But then, all of these measures, the government has talked about them. We are asking, where is the result? Let government get a little more serious about whatever it chooses to do. But nothing that we have read now is new.
But if you look at the frequency with which these attacks happened in the past and comparing it now, can we notice any difference either in reduction or otherwise, or perhaps strategy, do you think?
There is no reduction. There is no reduction. You can actually talk of escalation. And we have an idea where this is coming from. Of course, our involvement in Mali, which is something that is a tricky affair. We cannot but be involved, considering the implications of allowing the situation there to degenerate. But having been involved, we knew that there will be backlash, and we are dealing with the backlash now. And the Boko Haram elements have always shown this capacity for plotting their own revenge and catching the state unaware. I mean, more or less. Otherwise, obviously, what they did yesterday is just another way of Kano on Monday. It's just another way of showing the state that we are not as complicated as you think. You need rethinking on how to combat us. And again, I repeat, I'm worried about intergroup relations because you know the greater impact of what happened on Monday will be more telling on a part of the country. And how people are going to react to that, we cannot tell. But now that has happened, it behoves the government to now think of how do you prevent these people from overrunning the railway system, because next time it cannot be too short. Because these places where people must gather in some mass, what do you do? So I don't think there's a escalation. There has been an escalation, and it is shooting from all kinds of sources. And of course, the president was in Borno and Yobe. You had him. We all read about the interaction with the others. Some of those comments perhaps should have better been reserved for some private caucus and not too openly. The disgruntlement is widening because beyond even those who are actively in combat, there are also those who you want to lean on to participate in finding a solution who are now being antagonized and alienated.
All right, I'm Dr. Kemi Rotimi, police history scholar. Thank you very much indeed for speaking with us today on Sunrise Daily.
My pleasure. And if you want to get a job in the FCC, apply.
All right, we'll think about that. Thank you for speaking with us. We're back in just a moment here. Join us again. 8 minutes to 8. Welcome back to Sunrise Daily. Well, now we're being joined by Dr. Obi Ezekwesili, who is the former Minister of Education and co-founder of Transparency International. Morning, and thank you for joining us today. Well, we're speaking on public sector corruption today, but let's start from your perspective about our fight against corruption. How would you assess us?
Can you raise your volume a bit? I didn't much hear that.
Okay, in terms of our fight against corruption, how would you assess us so far?
Well, before I would even delve into that, I do want to condole the families that are mourning the loss of their members in the incidents that have occurred in the last couple of days. My heart really goes out to those families, and I hope that the government will do more to provide safety and security for citizens. I particularly note the fact that a lot of these victims are people who were coming from the eastern part of the country. The fact that investment is important in any part of our country means that we really must learn to live together peaceably as people united under one vision as a country. I do think that the Igbos need the kind of protection that we always say we want to give to investors. It's really important that we should reflect on how dangerous the trend has become, that these citizens who find it very okay to create growth in any part of the country almost feel like they are left to their own to their own fate in circumstances like this. My heart does go out to those families, and I hope that the elders in this land will come to the table and have a conversation on the issue of insecurity. It's gone beyond anything that is tolerable, and I believe that it's not late for us to try to save our citizens. So much needless death, and I really feel for victims. I was recently in a situation where I had to listen to the travails of members of families that were victims of this insecurity. And it wasn't an easy thing to do, to listen to the cry of mothers, of fathers and children. That was a very, very painful episode. And I think we should do everything within our power. The coercive apparatus lies within the arms of government, and I think it should really step up in terms of response to these challenges. Now, on your question as to the assessment of how well our corruption effort is going, I think that, at many levels, there are significant challenges that are emerging. Any comprehensive anti-corruption effort by any government, as we know, by virtue of research and experience around the world, has to be on a tripod. The tripod usually is the first one and fundamental is that the leadership with credibility are able to signal to the nation that there is a necessity for a moral revolution, almost a sense that the climate of corruption is costly to everyone, and therefore it would be important that new norms and new values be established as the fundamentals that govern the choices and the actions